This is my ranking of games like Astro Bot that I've played, based purely on my personal experience. Each one is placed from masterpiece to trash, depending on how smooth the platforming feels, how creative the levels are, and how fun and polished the experience is. Let's get straight into the list. Super Mario Odyssey is a colorful 3D platforming adventure where Mario and his living hat companion Cappy travel across many kingdoms to stop Bowser while collecting power moons through creative platforming, character capture abilities, hidden challenges, and inventive level design. After that, I quickly noticed how every kingdom kept introducing fresh ideas before older ones became boring. Capturing enemies completely changed how I solved puzzles and reached secrets, making each area feel different. I loved chaining jumps, searching for hidden power moons, and experimenting with every new ability I unlocked. Even the easier boss fights stayed entertaining because the creativity never slowed down. The post-game content surprised me with extra worlds, tougher objectives, and plenty of reasons to keep exploring. I also enjoyed finding costumes because they added extra personality without changing the core mechanics. Every session left me smiling and eager to discover another surprise. It belongs in the masterpiece tier. A Hat in Time is a 3D platforming adventure where a young space traveler searches for scattered timepieces by exploring imaginative worlds, crafting magical hats with unique abilities, uncovering collectibles, solving light puzzles, and facing creative boss battles across colorful locations. Once I settled into the adventure, I realized every chapter had its own personality instead of repeating the same ideas. I enjoyed switching between hats because each ability opened different paths and encouraged me to revisit older areas for extra secrets. The platforming felt smooth, movement stayed responsive, and every collectible hunt rewarded careful exploration. I also liked how the story introduced fun characters that kept each location memorable without slowing the pacing. Some camera moments caused minor frustration, but they never lasted long enough to spoil the adventure. The soundtrack stayed in my head even after I stopped playing, and the later bosses pushed my timing and reactions much harder. This easily lands in my excellent tier. Sackboy: A Big Adventure is a 3D platforming adventure where Sackboy travels across handcrafted worlds to stop the villain Vex by collecting dream orbs, completing creative platforming stages, uncovering hidden collectibles, tackling optional challenges, and unlocking new paths through colorful environments filled with playful surprises. Once I reached the first few levels, I could already tell that every stage had its own creative identity, instead of repeating familiar ideas. I enjoyed searching every corner because the collectibles were placed in clever spots that rewarded careful exploration. The movement felt smooth, the controls stayed responsive, and every jump landed exactly how I expected. The music levels became some of my favorite moments since every obstacle matched the rhythm and kept the action exciting. I also spent extra time customizing my character because the outfit options added even more charm between stages. Even after finishing levels, I wanted to replay them for missed secrets and better scores. It proudly belongs in my great tier. Tinykin shrinks a young space explorer into a giant household where colorful Tinykin creatures help solve environmental puzzles, clear obstacles, collect useful items, and uncover hidden routes while assisting lively insect communities scattered across imaginative everyday locations. Before long, I realized the biggest reward wasn't reaching the next objective, but getting distracted by everything hiding around me. I kept spotting another secret path, optional activity, or collectible that encouraged me to explore every corner instead of rushing ahead. Using different Tinykin abilities to move objects or remove obstacles stayed satisfying because every color served a useful purpose without becoming complicated. The soapboard made movement fast and enjoyable, while the hover ability helped me reach places that looked impossible at first. I also appreciated the complete lack of combat because it let exploration stay at the heart of the adventure. Every room overflowed with charm and creativity, making it easy to lose track of time. It comfortably fits into my great tier. Kirby and the Forgotten Land brings the series into fully 3D platforming with expansive stages packed with hidden collectibles, creative copy abilities, mouthful mode transformations, optional challenge levels, and rescue missions that unlock new activities throughout a lively hub village. After a few stages, I noticed that curiosity was rewarded almost everywhere I looked. I kept checking side paths because there was usually another hidden Waddle Dee, upgrade material, or clever objective waiting nearby. The copy abilities stayed fun since every upgrade made familiar powers stronger and encouraged me to experiment with different approaches. Mouthful mode never felt overused because each transformation introduced a different idea before moving on to something new. I also enjoyed replaying stages to complete missed objectives instead of simply reaching the finish again. The optional time trials added a satisfying challenge whenever I wanted to test my movement and reactions. It easily claims a place in my excellent tier. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart sends Ratchet, Clank, and new ally Rivet across connected dimensions to stop Emperor Nefarious through fast-paced platforming, creative third-person combat, dimensional rift mechanics, collectible hunting, optional challenges, and imaginative worlds filled with inventive weapons and memorable characters. As I progressed through each planet, I kept finding reasons to swap weapons instead of relying on a single favorite, because every encounter encouraged a different approach. The rift mechanic made movement exciting, letting me jump across huge gaps and instantly return to the action without slowing the pace. I also enjoyed searching every area for hidden armor pieces, gold bolts, and optional pocket dimensions that rewarded careful exploration. Rivet quickly became one of my favorite additions because her story blended naturally with the adventure. Every location looked incredible, and the smooth movement made platforming just as satisfying as the combat. It easily secures its place in my excellent tier. Psychonauts 2 follows young psychic Roz as he explores the minds of different people through creative 3D platforming, unique psychic powers, clever puzzles, collectible hunting, and imaginative levels that reveal personal stories in fun and surprising ways. Once I started entering each new mind, I never knew what kind of crazy idea was waiting next. Every level looked completely different, and I enjoyed seeing how each person's thoughts and memories shaped the places I explored. The platforming felt smooth, and using different psychic powers kept both movement and combat interesting without becoming difficult to understand. I also liked searching for hidden collectibles because they encouraged me to explore every corner instead of rushing ahead. The story balanced funny moments with emotional ones, making the characters easy to care about from beginning to end. Its creative level design stayed fresh all the way through, making it an easy choice for my excellent tier. Spyro Reignited Trilogy brings together Spyro's first 3 adventures with colorful 3D platforming, collectible hunting, simple combat, memorable worlds, hidden secrets, and updated visuals that stay faithful to the original games while adding smoother movement and modern presentation. As I moved from one adventure to the next, I could clearly see how each game introduced new ideas without losing the charm that made the series special. Exploring every level for gems, dragons, and hidden collectibles kept me busy because there was always another corner worth checking. Spyro's smooth gliding and charging made movement satisfying, and I enjoyed revisiting earlier areas to finish everything I had missed. The bright environments, fun characters, and cheerful soundtrack made every stage enjoyable from beginning to end. Even though some mechanics felt simpler than modern platformers, the trilogy stayed entertaining because its creativity never faded. It easily earns a place in my excellent tier. Donkey Kong Bananza sends Donkey Kong and Pauline deep beneath the planet through huge underground worlds filled with destructible environments, creative platforming, hidden collectibles, clever puzzles, powerful transformations, and memorable boss battles that constantly introduce fresh ideas. After the first few hours, I realized the biggest surprise was how much freedom the world gave me. I loved smashing through walls, digging my own paths, and discovering secret areas that rewarded curiosity instead of following a single route. Every layer introduced something different, so I was always excited to see what the next area would bring. The movement felt powerful, exploration stayed rewarding, and the platforming remained fun because the game kept finding new ways to use its mechanics. Pauline was also a fantastic partner, adding plenty of charm while making the adventure even more enjoyable. Every moment felt packed with creativity, making this an easy choice for my masterpiece tier. Crash Bandicoot 4 It's About Time continues the original trilogy with fast-paced 3D platforming, creative quantum mask powers, hidden collectibles, playable characters, challenging bonus stages, and colorful worlds that constantly introduce new mechanics without losing the series' classic style. As the adventure continued, I was surprised by how often the game introduced something different before any idea became repetitive. Every level tested my timing in new ways, and mastering the mask abilities made difficult platforming sections even more satisfying. I also enjoyed hunting for hidden gems, breaking every crate, and returning to earlier stages because there was always another challenge waiting. Playing as characters like Tawna, Dingodile, and Cortex added welcome variety, making each section feel different from the last. The platforming stayed fair even when the difficulty increased, and every success felt well earned. It easily deserves a place in my excellent tier. Penny's Big Breakaway stars a talented street performer who escapes an army of penguins using a magical yo-yo across colorful 3D platforming stages filled with creative movement, hidden collectibles, unique level ideas, fast-paced challenges, and constantly changing gameplay mechanics. As I learned more tricks with the yo-yo, moving around the world became the best part of the adventure. Every stage introduced a new mechanic, so I was always curious to see what surprise was coming next. Swinging, bouncing, sliding, and launching through the levels felt fun even when some sections were difficult to master. The camera occasionally made platforming harder than it needed to be, and some controls took time to get used to, but the creativity kept me going. The bright visuals, cheerful music, and funny penguin chases made every level enjoyable and full of personality. It earns a solid place in my good tier. New Super Lucky's Tale mixes classic 3D platforming with colorful worlds, hidden collectibles, simple puzzles, charming characters, and creative stage designs that smoothly switch between side-scrolling and fully 3D gameplay throughout the adventure. As I explored each world, I found myself checking every corner because there was always another hidden collectible or bonus challenge waiting. The movement felt smooth, and using Lucky's burrow ability alongside double jumps made platforming easy to learn but still fun throughout the adventure. I also liked how every stage offered something different, from classic side-scrolling sections to larger areas with multiple paths to explore. The cheerful music, colorful environments, and lovable characters made the whole adventure relaxing to play. Although it never became very difficult, its variety and charm kept me smiling until the credits rolled. It earns a well-deserved spot in my good tier. Boti Byteland Overclocked brings classic 3D platforming into a colorful digital world where a cheerful robot uses jumping, dashing, gliding, and magnetic abilities to complete quests, uncover hidden collectibles, solve simple platforming challenges, and battle quirky bosses across creative technology-inspired stages. I had the most fun searching every level because there were collectibles hidden almost everywhere, and reaching the highest completion rank always encouraged me to explore a little more. Unlocking cosmetics and decorating the home area also gave me another reason to keep collecting everything I could find. The movement was easy to understand, and combining different abilities kept platforming enjoyable even if I wished Boti moved a bit faster. A few technical issues interrupted the adventure, but the creative ideas, charming humor, memorable boss fights, and rewarding progression still made it worth playing. It finds a place in my good tier. Pac-Man World 2 Re-PAC sends Pac-Man across themed regions of Pac-Land where each stage combines classic 3D platforming, hidden collectibles, creative set pieces, memorable boss fights, and light puzzle solving into a straightforward but entertaining adventure. I quickly found myself enjoying how smooth Pac-Man felt to control because every jump, bounce, and roll made moving through the levels satisfying. I liked searching for hidden fruits, secret bonus stages, and extra costumes, which made exploring every corner worthwhile instead of rushing to the finish. The adventure also kept things fresh with different gameplay ideas, including chase sequences, submarine sections, and creative boss encounters that broke up the standard platforming. A few stages became noticeably tougher than the rest, but generous checkpoints kept the challenge from becoming frustrating. Its charming presentation, varied level design, and rewarding collectibles easily secure it a place in my great tier. SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated revisits the classic underwater adventure with large collectible-filled areas, character swapping, light puzzles, platforming challenges, robot battles, and familiar locations from the animated series brought back with updated visuals. I enjoyed revisiting Bikini Bottom because every area encouraged me to hunt for golden spatulas, shiny objects, and hidden socks, while unlocking new paths along the way. Switching between SpongeBob, Patrick, and Sandy added welcome variety, since each character opened different parts of the adventure with unique abilities. The colorful presentation and memorable boss fights captured the show's charm, although awkward movement, dated mechanics, and a few frustrating platforming sections occasionally slowed the fun. Even with those rough moments, the nostalgic atmosphere, rewarding exploration, and classic collectathon structure kept me playing until the end. It settles into my good tier. Disney epic Mickey Rebrushed follows Mickey Mouse through the mysterious wasteland where platforming, light puzzles, exploration, collectibles, and paint or thinner choices shape the adventure, while familiar Disney characters and forgotten cartoons fill every area with personality. I really liked experimenting with the paintbrush, because choosing whether to restore parts of the world or erase them made progression more interesting than simply defeating every enemy. Exploring each location was rewarding thanks to hidden collectibles, side quests, and plenty of Disney references that were fun to discover. The updated controls, sprint, dodge, and smoother movement made getting around much more enjoyable, while the beautiful visuals gave every environment a unique charm. Although the platforming and objectives became repetitive at times, the memorable atmosphere, creative mechanics, and satisfying exploration kept me invested from beginning to end. It easily earns a place in my great tier. The Knightling places a young hero in a vibrant fantasy kingdom where shield-based combat, open-area exploration, platforming, puzzles, collectibles, and quests come together as you search for a legendary knight who has mysteriously disappeared. I had the most fun simply moving through the world because running, climbing, sliding, and surfing across the landscape on the magical shield made every journey exciting. Exploring always felt worthwhile thanks to hidden chests, upgrade materials, puzzles, and plenty of secrets that rewarded curiosity instead of rushing forward. Combat leaned more toward blocking and well-timed parries than aggressive attacks, which gave encounters a different rhythm without becoming too complicated. The colorful art style, charming characters, lighthearted humor, and satisfying progression kept the adventure engaging from beginning to end. It confidently stands among the strongest platforming adventures I've played and earns a place in my excellent tier. Yooka-Laylee revives the classic 3D collectathon formula with massive worlds, platforming challenges, hidden collectibles, creative abilities, puzzles, and memorable characters, as the duo explores colorful environments to stop an unusual villain from carrying out his plans. I had a great time uncovering every corner because each world rewarded exploration with new collectibles, hidden challenges, and upgrades that expanded what I could do. Unlocking fresh abilities kept progression exciting, especially when they opened new routes or helped solve clever environmental puzzles. I also liked how the worlds grew larger over time, giving me more reasons to return and search for secrets I had previously missed. The lively soundtrack, fun boss fights, and charming cast made the adventure easy to stick with, even though the camera and a few weaker areas occasionally became frustrating. Its rewarding exploration and classic platforming charm comfortably secure a place in my good tier. Knack II delivers a colorful action platforming adventure where Knack travels through varied environments, solves light puzzles, battles goblins with expanded martial arts abilities, and teams up with a second player in local co-op while progressing through a straightforward story. I liked how the adventure mixed platforming with satisfying combat because every new move made encounters more enjoyable without becoming overly complicated. The bright visuals, smooth performance, and creative environments kept each stage interesting, while hidden collectibles encouraged me to look beyond the main path whenever I could. Progression stayed enjoyable thanks to a steady stream of new abilities that made both exploration and combat feel more rewarding as I advanced. Local co-op also added plenty of fun, making it easy to share the adventure with someone else. Its polished gameplay, colorful presentation, approachable challenge, and consistently entertaining platforming comfortably earn it a place in my good tier. Pumpkin Jack mixes fast-paced action, classic 3D platforming, weapon upgrades, light puzzles, hidden collectibles, and spooky-themed levels as a pumpkin-headed champion fights through monsters and powerful bosses on a mission given by the devil himself. I found the adventure became much stronger as I unlocked better weapons because the sword, ranged attacks, and later combat options added far more variety than the opening hours suggested. Exploring each level for hidden collectibles and optional paths gave me plenty of reasons to slow down instead of rushing straight to the exit, while the Halloween-inspired environments made every stage stand out with their own personality. The platforming also became more creative as the campaign progressed, introducing tougher obstacles that rewarded good timing without feeling unfair. Its shorter length worked perfectly because the action stayed fresh until the credits rolled. The spooky atmosphere, satisfying progression, memorable boss fights, and enjoyable platforming easily earned it a place in my great tier. Sonic Frontiers transforms the series into a large open-zone adventure where high-speed platforming, exploration, puzzles, collectibles, cyberspace stages, and massive boss battles come together across mysterious islands filled with robotic enemies and hidden secrets. I had the most fun simply sprinting across the islands because the freedom to run, grind rails, climb cliffs, and discover new activities made exploration constantly rewarding. Collecting Chaos Emeralds, memory tokens, and upgrade materials gave me a steady sense of progression, while the Psyloop ability added a creative twist to both combat and puzzle solving. I also enjoyed how the cyberspace levels broke up the open world structure with faster, more traditional platforming that reminded me of classic Sonic. Although the combat became repetitive and technical issues occasionally interrupted the action, the ambitious design kept surprising me with something new around every corner. Its rewarding exploration, creative ideas, and enjoyable movement comfortably place it in my good tier. Rayman Legends builds its adventure around beautifully crafted side-scrolling stages packed with precise platforming, hidden teensies, collectible lums, rhythm-based levels, and creative boss encounters spread across a variety of colorful worlds. I was amazed by how consistently inventive every stage felt because the adventure kept introducing fresh mechanics before older ideas had the chance to become repetitive. Searching every corner for hidden teensies made exploration rewarding, and collecting enough lums encouraged me to replay levels for better results without making completion feel mandatory. The music stages quickly became some of my favorite moments thanks to their perfect mix of fast platforming and rhythm, creating memorable sequences that stood apart from everything else. I also appreciated the huge amount of extra content, including remix stages and daily challenges, which added plenty of replay value after the main adventure ended. Its outstanding level design, endless creativity, polished gameplay, and incredible charm easily earned it a place in my excellent tier. That concludes my ranking of games like Astro Bot. If you think another platforming adventure deserves a spot here, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.